All right, let's see. Who do we have here? Hey there, vinyl community. Today's the day. The time has come to draw a contest winner, actually 2 contest winners for my subscriber contest. Thank you to everyone that entered. Before I get to that though, I thought I would show some recent pickups and some stuff I've been spinning. Starting with this big giant hulking box set right here. This is the new Deutsche Grammophon limited edition box set of Bernstein's complete Mahler Symphony Cycle. This was just released. It's a limited edition of 2600, and if you want to read my full thoughts on this box set, you can go over to The Tracking Angle, Michael Fremer's new website. I did a full write-up there. This was kind of an interesting box set, and I had some conflicted thoughts about it because I'm a huge fan of Leonard Bernstein, especially his championing of the works of Gustav Mahler, and I really love these performances. These recordings have always had issues with the sound quality from the time they were released, and including every single reissue that's come out, and this box is kind of no different. So if you want to read my thoughts on that, you can go over to The Tracking Angle. I will link it in the description box below. Some more recent pickups. I have the new latest Blue Note Tone Poet releases, the Kenny Burrell self-titled Blue Note 1543 in mono, and Grant Green's Feel in the Spirit. This is his album with Herbie Hancock, Blue Note Tone Poet. I'm sure everyone, I think that might have been the first time I opened the spine on this. I'm sure everyone has been picking these up. I always feel a little silly showing these just because they're so popular, but I'm buying them too, just like the rest of you. I want to show a couple records I picked up from Japan. This one I'm really excited about because this completes my Buck Tick collection on vinyl, at least in LP form. There's a couple 7-inch singles I want to get by them, but now I have all the LPs, and this is Buck Tick's second album titled Sexual XXXXX exclamation point. This is the second album by the young 1980s power pop band Buck Tick. They're probably most well known for their turn in the 90s is kind of like an industrial goth rock band. But in the 80s, they were definitely more of a new wave power pop band, and that's how they got their start. And this second album, this sophomore album by then, which was recorded right after their debut album, still is kind of this young, youthful power pop, pop punk sound that they had. And check out those outfits on the back cover there. Only in the 80s. Another 80s Japanese record I picked up is the original Japanese pressing of Dead End's second album, Ghost of Romance. I have had the US pressing of this album for a long time. This is even a gatefold, check this out. Dead End were a really, really interesting kind of groundbreaking band in the 80s in Japan. Playing a sort of fusion of hair metal, American hair metal, speed metal, and kind of goth rock, fusing it with British goth rock. And they were one of the originators of the style in Japan known as Visual Kei. And they would become hugely influential in bands like X Japan, bands like Luna Sea, bands that got really popular in the early 90s in Japan. Dead End were kind of one of the progenitors of that look and that sound. Especially here, you can kind of see the influence of American hair metal, but with a uniquely Japanese flair, which would become what Visual Kei would later be. Going back even older, I picked up some records that I've been wanting for a long time by the city pop artist Takeo Nuki. This is her debut album on Pan Am Records, Gray Skies. I've listened to songs off this album for a long time because I have her compilation Early Songs, which contains songs off this album and her second album, Sunshower. But I finally got an original pressing of this. Just wonderful, beautiful, light soul funk fusion city pop from Japan. She was the original co-lead vocalist of the band Sugar Babe, which was like the first city pop group in Japan. It's actually going to be a lot of Takeonuki records I'm showing, because for the longest time I've had a reissue of Takeonuki's Sun Shower. Originals are very, very hard to find, but I finally did track one down at the right price. It's an original Pan Am pressing of what I think is her best album, Sun Shower. This has become an internet sensation, possibly one of the most popular Japanese city pop records ever currently right now, thanks to websites like Reddit and Tumblr and YouTube. It's fascinating to me, the revival this music has gone through and how popular Takeonuki has become after a couple years of relative obscurity. And the one I was most excited about, because I had not been able to get this on vinyl at all until very recently, this is the new Great Tracks reissue of Takeonuki's third album, Mignon. This is even hard to get in the reissue format, but luckily I jumped on the pre-order for this. So this is a Great Tracks reissue on clear vinyl that was cut by Bernie Grundman. The remastering was done in Japan, but the cutting was done by Bernie Grundman at Bernie Grundman Mastering. And this sounds amazing. If anyone thinks, I've never heard an original pressing of this, but I'm completely happy with this new remastering reissue, because it's done very, very well. It sounds phenomenal. This was the last album Takeonuki did before she this is the last album she did as kind of like a soul jazzy pop artist. The albums she did after this album, after Mignon, she went on to do a more experimental electronic style. She was working with people like Ryuichi Sakamoto, artists of that nature, so she was moving towards a more avant-garde direction and away from the jazzy soul style of music she started with Sugar Babe. So this is kind of the third record in the trilogy of her early albums, I would say. Moving halfway around the world, as some of you may know, recent last couple weeks, the British pound has been really down in the markets. And so if you were waiting for a time to buy records from England, that was the time. And I did take advantage of that. I have long tried to slowly collect original UK pressings of both The Cure and The Smiths, and I did fill in some holes in my Smiths collection. We have an original rough trade pressing here of The Smiths' debut album. This came out in 1984. This is the original rough trade pressing. It's actually in really good condition. This sounds phenomenal. I do have the Rhino reissue, and at some point I want to do a shootout between these originals and the Rhino reissues and the US pressings. I just need to find the time to do that. But this original rough trade sounds phenomenal. A slightly less, and I don't know if this is just the album in general. This is an original rough trade of the Smiths' second album, Meat is Murder. I think maybe this album just never, I think it was mastered originally with the intention of being kind of bright and tinny, because this does sound a little bright on my system, but I think that just might be the way they intended. I don't think it's necessarily a flaw in the pressing. Now, again, this would be an interesting one to compare to the Rhino, because from my memory, the Rhino was not this kind of bright and sibilant, so maybe I'll like the Rhino remastering of this album better, but it's still cool to own an original. And I did also pick up a 12-inch single. I do not have anywhere close to all the Smiths singles. I have maybe a third of the Smiths 12-inch singles. And this one is The Joke Isn't Funny Anymore. I always loved the cover art on their 12-inch singles. Yeah, again, in stellar condition. The last two albums I want to show is I did get the new Kraft Records Savoy reissue of the Futuristic Sounds of Sun Ra. Haven't got a chance to listen to this yet, but everyone's been talking about it, so I figured I'd give this some camera time. I will say the jacket is really well done, really high quality tip-on jacket here. Futuristic Sounds of Sun Ra. Last, but certainly not least, is the recent Steven Wilson reissue of Gentle Giant's Freehand. I know a lot of people are big fans of Steven Wilson's remastering, so I'm gonna see if he did a good job on this, because I don't have an original UK of this Gentle Giant album, but I do have original pressings of a lot of the Gentle Giant catalog, so I have a kind of a decent idea of what those records tend to sound like. So, interested to check this out. All right, now that we've gone through that, time to get to the contest drawing. So just as a reminder, this is what the prizes in the contest are. The first runner-up prize is this wonderful turntable light, the Uberlight Flex. You can see it right behind me here. Wonderful, versatile turntable light. This one is in black, but yes, this is the runner-up prize for the drawing. And then the grand prize are these records here. Akiko Yano, the Reiner Sound, Analog Productions Living Stereo reissue. Glassing Twin Dream. Kraft Records reissue, Chet Baker in New York, sealed. And last but not least, Circa Survives, The Amulet, sealed. Before I do this drawing here with all the names I have in the little bowl here, I want to thank everyone that took the time to make a response video for this contest. Making videos takes effort, and I want to thank you guys for putting in the effort to participate in the contest and spreading the word. So I got 23 entries for this contest. No, 25 entries for this contest. Really cool. So the channels that made a video for this contest, I want to give a quick shout out to everyone that participated. That's Norman Maslov, Mazzy's Music, Rachel's Ghost, Music on Record, Hub Tunes, The Waxed, Bill's Box of Sound, Elliot Cruz, Ricefield Records, T-Cat's Deep Vinyl Tracks, Block's Sonic Wafers, Vinyl Rundown, Prime Analog Records, George Allen LPs and CDs, Culture Fan, Daniel Bates, Flame and Groove Listens, The Surface Spins, Pops and Clicks, Joe Marino, Chris from Record Talk, Twanger's Turntable, Jack's Tracks, Enol Melka, also known as Alex, Simon Turner, and Music and Movies with Bagheera. Thank you all so much for your entries. I really, really appreciate it. I had a good time watching and responding to all your videos. So now that that's out of the way, I have all the channels in a bowl here. I'm going to draw for the runner-up prize first. That is the Uberlight Flex turntable light. This guy right behind me here. So who will get the turntable light? Let's see. All right, we have a name. Vinyl Rundown, you are the winner of a brand new Uberlight Flex. All right. Leave a comment down below. If I announced you as a winner, leave a comment down below so I can see it's the right channel, and we'll connect via email and get your prize off to you. All right, now, so the grand prize winner I'll be drawing for. This is all the records I just showed just now. All right, let's see. Who do we have here? Elliot Cruz. Elliot Cruz, congratulations. You are the winner. So leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for your video. Leave a comment down below and I will get these records off to you as soon as possible. Thank you all so much for your contest entries. Thank you for helping me reach 10,000 subscribers. Right after this, I've got to do a quick move, so it might be a few weeks before I get to another video. But until that time, you guys have a great one, and thank you all once again. Cheers.